Man and woman. This will be the topic of today's video, and by using the capabilities of my mind, I'm trying to get a deeper understanding of the topic and maybe even reality itself. Let's see. Yeah, man and woman. I remember a time where this was not a controversial topic and you could just talk about it. And now, here we are, 2025, and maybe even the title of the video already triggered some emotion in you. Who knows? The way I see it, there is a lot of confusion around this so essential part of our lives. We are all man or woman, or maybe not. This was put into question, especially the last couple of years. What I see in this whole discussion is there is a gigantic misconception or misunderstanding between the difference of feminine and masculine and man and woman. The one thing, so feminine and masculine, these are just principles of the world. It's a polarity like north and south, or the negative and positive pole of a magnet, and it's just defined. This is just the meaning of the word feminine and the meaning of the word masculine. This is just the way these things are defined. The North Pole, this has a specific point on the planet, and so has the South Pole. This is just by definition. You could call the North Pole South Pole and the South Pole North Pole. Okay, good, but it wouldn't change the thing in itself. It's just the way they work, or maybe with the magnet it's better to understand, because the energy flows in one direction and centers in another. This is just the flow of electricity. There's one point where it's radiating out and another where it's pointing to. And the masculine principle, it's defined by focus. So each time you're striving for a goal, you're activating the masculine parts in yourself. Very simple. And each time you're radiating energy, you're activating the feminine parts in yourself. And of course, each and every single one of us has a masculine and a feminine part in ourselves. How much? That is for each one different. And then we are coming to this nice little spectrum. Gender is a spectrum? No, not the way I see it. The polarity of feminine and masculine, this is a spectrum, of course. You can be on any point of the scale. But normally, the way these are defined too, you can never be 100% masculine, neither can you be 100% feminine. Because if you are 100% masculine, then you're just dead. Death, the archetype, or even the Reaper itself would be 100% masculine. Yeah. So then you're dead if you're 100% masculine, because life itself is the feminine energy. If you have zero feminine energy in you, you're dead. It's that simple. And if the other way around, if you are 100% energy, this would be maybe an atomic bomb, just exploding. It's just pure chaos, of course. Because then there's always too much of something, even if it's good, in smaller amounts. And then, of course, you have man and woman, and as far as I was educated, these are just defined by your gender. And now, okay, if you are very educated and getting deep into this topic, then you say, oh, in the end, this is a spectrum too, because there are these extreme cases where it's not so quite defined anymore. No? You have these hermaphrodite, I think. It's from Greek mythology, because Aphrodite and Hermes, the two great gods of the Greek mythology, they had a child together, and it was both feminine and masculine at the same time. Had both genitals, like a snail maybe. And so the edges are getting fuzzy, even there. Yeah. And then you could even argue, if you follow the masculine path for a very, very long time, then also you're becoming more like a man. So even if you have a female body, if you follow the focus, if you get very focused and follow on all these goals that you want to achieve, become more and more free. This is the other polarity, feminine and masculine. You could also describe it as freedom and love. This is another very simple description. It's just another part of the definition. Love and femininity is the same thing, as is freedom and masculinity. Neither is better than the other. It's just a decision, what you prefer. You want to go the path of love, or you want to go the path of freedom. This is a decision each and every one of us has to do by themselves. And of course you can do both parts, or follow the one for a time and then the other. This is the beauty of life, that it's up to you which path you follow. But the way I see it, it's difficult for a fish to climb a tree. Of course he could do it. The process of evolution is proof of it. Just took a few 100 million years, so now you are a human, you have all this great technology of humanity behind you, you could do it faster, of course. Yes, you have this male body, for example, and you want to follow the female path to its fullest, and then you change the structure of your body. It's possible through the technology of biology and chemistry, everything that we figured out. But why? Why make it so difficult for yourself? I mean, in the end you would know. Probably, I hope, at least, if you make such an enormous decision about your life. But of course, the way I see it, or it's just another perspective, let's keep it like that, if I believe it or not, is not so important for what I'm doing here, because you couldn't care less what I believe or not. It doesn't matter for your own life if this guy that is talking to this camera, whatever he believes is irrelevant for your own thoughts and beliefs, of course, because it's your decision which of these ideas or beliefs you're taking for yourself. This is also quite liberating. But there is, if you are believing in the infinity of the soul, and maybe even the process of incarnation, so that means you didn't only live one life, but maybe many, then maybe you choose this specific body in the first place. So if it was your decision in the first place, why would you want to change it? Now that you're in the body and incarnated onto this earth, I mean, you're working against yourself here then, from this perspective, of course. Yeah. But from a pure biological perspective, when you put away all these incarnations and infinity of the soul, and you were born without any of your own doing, was just by chance, random, whatever that means actually, I'm not so sure. And now you are fighting against the forces of biology. It's a tough opponent that you pick there as an enemy. I'm not so sure if you would win this fight in the long run. If you fight against nature itself in the end. Don't know if this is the wise thing to do. Yeah, and then, of course, we have in the end, there's the game between the feminine and the masculine. And maybe if you are a very feminine person or very masculine, then you experienced a lot of friction. between these polarities. This is the game, this is the romantic game also, the friction between the opposite pole. This makes it so fiery and all the passion arises out of it, so it's a beautiful game to play actually. And the more masculine you're becoming, what you will attract automatically is something that, or someone that is extremely feminine at one point, of course, and then you have this enormous friction between you and an enormous amount of passion. If you're more in the center, more neutral, maybe even balanced, very rare but also possible, that you're completely balanced, feminine and masculine, then you will have very little passion in your life, which is no problem at all. It's a different way of going through this life. It's very neutral, and it's very your relationship. If you have a partner, then it would also be balanced probably. Then this relationship would be more about friendship or the intellectual experience you're having together, or maybe a business experience, whatever. Or maybe you then still are getting a family and you will just be mother and father or whatever. But it would not be defined by this friction and passion of the two polarities of feminine and masculine. By definition, it cannot be like this. Again, it's your choice which path you're taking. The way I see it, or another point of view, is it's a beautiful thing, of course. Doesn't this make life so interesting that we have this polarity? And now if you go online, you see all these endless amounts of videos of pure hatred of the other gender, or the other polarity, whatever you want to use here. Alright, okay, you can play this game forever and hate what you are not. But how about you try loving the other gender? How about you try loving women? How would that be for a change? Or love men? Stop your hatred. Yes, and then see how this will change your life. Maybe in the beginning you cannot love them all. This would be a little bit too much to ask probably, but at least some maybe you can love fully. And then with that you can expand it. Yes, and those you cannot, then ignore it. And some of course still hate them. Why not? Hate has its place too. And to conclude this, it's of course foolish to talk about this, and I'm a fool, and so are you and everybody else who talks about it all the time. And I think I never met anybody who is not talking about this in one way or another, because it's just an essential part of this social dynamics we're having here as humans. It's so interesting to do it, and we are all fools all the time, especially if you talk about it like men are like, or women are like, or women want, or women. It's like you're talking about yourself like you are the goddess or the god himself. It's ridiculous. You're not. You are not the ambassador of all men, and you are not the ambassador of all women. You're just a fool. You're just a fool, an idiot too. Of course you are. How can it be any other way? Because every individual is different in this case, and if you generalize this, then you're putting yourself exactly like this, as the herald of all men or all women. And from this perspective, it's just laughable, because you will never figure it out, not in this life. The possibility of that is really, really, really close to zero, because by definition, if you would do that, you would need to become the god or the goddess, and I doubt that you are. But if you are the incarnation of Shiva, for example, which is defined, or Vishnu, by the masculine principle, for example, wow, then what an honor that you're watching this video. And you see already how ridiculous this is when I put it into this context. And this is nice sometimes to zoom out so much, and then all these fuss you're having, this talking you do with all your friends about these topics becomes, maybe it will change then. And then maybe instead of hating all these men in your life that you met or that you never met, because you're just hating someone that you just saw on a screen, like me. Maybe you hate me now because I talk about it like this and you don't like that. who knows? Yeah, why not forget about it and try to focus on those men or those women that you can love, and then try that for some time. All right, let's see how this will resonate with you. If you feel free to add something, if you have something to say, if you want to hate me a little bit, then feel free to do that too. I can handle it. And yeah, if you enjoy these kind of intellectual discussions that I'm having here with myself in some way, then feel free to subscribe too.